Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for checking us on out. Tobin here with you. If you could, subscribe to the channel. If you could also subscribe to the WQAM YouTube channel. We're now streaming live, Tobin and Leroy, every single weekday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Hope you guys check us out. It was boots on the ground over at the Heat's house for a little Heat Nets action. Busy day down here in South Florida. We had the Dolphins in action. They're in the playoffs now. You had the Heat against KD and Kyrie. Big matchup there. Also had Panthers Stars. It was a busy day down here, dude. But the Miami Heat, they lose a heartbreaker. 102-101. Royce O'Neal with the putback after Kyrie Irving pulls up from 30. And I thought for sure it was going in, to be honest with you. Like, as soon as he shot, I was like, oh, this is going to hurt. And instead, it was a wackadoo rebound that just ends up in Royce O'Neal's hands, and he puts it back, and Heat had a chance to go ahead. They give it to Jimmy Buckets, drives to the hoop, thought he got mauled. Refs swallow the whistle. Jimmy Butler going into tonight, got to the free throw line got to the free throw line 9 times. Spo was saying tonight he thought he should have gone to the line a lot more. He was getting mauled all night long, but certainly. You think about one of the guys, he is one of the best free throw drawers in the league, but he doesn't do it like these flopping and flailing and whining and crying. Jimmy Butler just does it like, I'm going to go to the rim, we're going to hit each other, and I'm going to get some buckets, and I'm probably going to get fouled. And that's just how he does it. And his game translates. It translates beautiful to the postseason. It's why he's one of the best postseason players in the league. But he doesn't bitch or complain at all when it comes to these calls. And I just, Spo was frustrated by it afterwards, obviously. And Jimmy Butler was like, should have made it.
I thought Jimmy just made the absolute right play. I think easily in this game alone, he could have had 6 to 8 more free throw attempts. I think the one where KD actually got hurt, I think he just got raked across his arm on that one. One in the first half, he got hit in the head. It should have been an and one. But that one, I just think, I don't think it was vertical. I don't think he was set. I think it was not the classic A to B, and I don't think he was in position. Now, I'm sure they'll say otherwise, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But I think that earned the right to go to the free throw line and see if we could have won the game. I don't think we could have gotten anything better than that opportunity. Obviously, right at the rim with Jimmy. And I haven't seen the replay on that. It just did not look like it was a vertical play where he was waiting for him. I think he rotated O'Neal, and I don't know. It felt like Kyrie got something in there. But that's just really unfortunate. Our guys really played well. I really felt that we deserved to win the game just from the energy and the tenor, particularly in the second half. And they're a good team. They can flatten you out defensively. I think that's probably one of the more underrated things about what they do. I thought we made a lot of good reads. And defensively, holding an explosive offensive team, down under their average. So I think we did what we needed to do to win the game. It's just a shame that it didn't turn out to be a W for us. I'm still shocked. I thought
that's what it is, part of the game. I think we definitely got the look that we wanted. I got to make that out of it.
Jimmy was the intention there, drive from the very get-go.
Yeah. Get into the paint. I wish I had a couple more seconds so I could have kicked it to, I think it was Vic in the corner, maybe it was somebody in the corner. Obviously he came over. But I got to make that, like I said.
There is great honor in that. Like, don't get me wrong. There is great honor in what Jimmy Butler is doing. He is not a guy here looking for the refs to bail him out. But let's call the game the way you're supposed to call it. And I don't understand how a guy with his credentials, a guy who's been in the league, has as many all-star appearances as he does, how you have these other people out here with their trickery and their gimmicks and their flopping and flailing, looking like windsocks out there. And Jimmy Butler's just playing good old-fashioned tough basketball. And these referees do not give him the respect he deserves. There's more calls and ticky-tack calls on little elbows, little graze shots, little trips, little follies here and there than there is for Jimmy Butler. Lauri Markkanen, who's having a tremendous season, and good for Lauri. But Lauri Markkanen does not have the resume of a Jimmy Butler. This guy gets more respect at the end of games for this damn three-point shot than Jimmy Butler does for going to the hole and guys flying out of nowhere to try and stop him. And for him not getting a call today, it was a joke. It was a joke from the officials. And I don't really care what your last 2-minute report has to say, whether you guys want to cover it up all fugazi. The three of you, I saw you walking down that tunnel when I was going over to Heat Media. You should be ashamed of yourselves the way you behaved today. That was a terrible call that was a terrible no call on Jimmy Butler. And really, quite frankly, left a sour taste in my mouth for what was a really great game. First of all, I got to give props to the Miami Heat for a couple of things. I'm talking specifically for their marketing department, their media department, everybody who does game ops. Tonight, they brought back the throwbacks, which was delightful. And when I go back there, I wanted to go today. I was busy today with having to do Porpoise Pod and Dolphins reaction, so I didn't get a chance to go to the Heat store. Believe me when I tell you, I'm going down there to get some of that throwback Heat swag for sure. The jerseys look so crisp. I love them so much. I want them to be permanent. I know I am an old fuddy-duddy with this. I know I'm a sucker for nostalgia, whether it be, if the Marlins brought back their uniforms, that would make me so happy. The Heat, the Dolphins, I even miss the old Panther, all of it. I just love all of it. It makes me happy. It makes me feel a warmth of my childhood. I don't care if it's lame. But anyway, Heat, the intro video, so good. We need to break it down. Another video this week, I think, just to break down the intro video, how good it was. So that was fantastic. Then they had some great stuff in the middle of the game between Vic's story time, which was Victor Oladipo telling this beautiful soliloquy, this beautiful story of Vashawn Leonard. And I love Vashawn Leonard. This is tremendous. So that made me really happy that they did that. And then they did Ron's Rewind, the inaugural head coach. And he talked about, the losing that he went through in the first season and getting their first win. It really was. They just did everybody just hats. I'm not wearing a hat, but if I was, hats off. It was just a great job by the entire media department, the entire marketing department. I love it so much. I want them forever. I love these uniforms so much. I really do. They are a delight. And it was a star-studded affair tonight. First of all, first quarter, there was like some crazy ass shot making that was going on. Kevin Durant was getting off to a fantastic start, and he's tall. I don't know if you guys know this about Kevin, tall. So he was just draining jumper after jumper on Haywood Highsmith. But Haywood Highsmith, this guy was keeping the Heat afloat offensively. He had this heave at the end of the shot clock. He just heaves it on up. 3. And it was just a glorious shot from Haywood Highsmith, who was just unloading the bag on everybody in this game. You have this whole scenario coming in with Jimmy, who really starts getting the action. And the quality shot making between Kyrie, who was awesome in the first half especially. He had 24 points in the first half. He did a pretty good job on KD. A lot of it's make or miss too, because he's so damn tall. But he ripped a lot of turnovers tonight. That was something that was really impressive from them. I thought that he played a good game. I did. I thought that they played a good game, which makes the loss kind of sting. But at one point, I'm watching this first quarter. I'm like, got Ben Simmons out there and TJ Warren. It's like two of the starting liners for the all Jimmy Butler beef team. You got to have Karl Anthony Towns, I guess, as your center. You got those, two other spots are there up for grabs. Maybe one is just All-Star Weekend in general, and then just like the Bulls ownership. But like those two guys, I was just like, oh, look at this. Jimmy Butler's old friends out there. They just must love seeing him. So, but TJ Warren did hit these back-to-back threes at the end of the first quarter. And then Gabe Vincent, heaved one at the buzzer. It was just some wild ass shot making that was going on. Second quarter comes around. This was highlighted by a lot of things, but numero uno was Bam Adebayo murder dunking on Joe Harris. Joe Harris, the poor soul that he is with his beautiful hair, tried to stay in there like a brave soul and take a charge on Bam. It was not successful. Bam just absolutely threw it down all over him with the and one. It was beautiful. And there was, Bam was looking good in that second quarter after getting off to a slow start. We didn't quite know what was going on yet, but after that dunk, he starts gripping his hand a little bit, which brings me back to flashbacks of last year when he got hurt. So we're all a little bit nervous of what's going on, but he's still playing. So, maybe he's going to get through this okay. He did do that again last year where he did play through it. Star-studded night. You had a lot of people there. Adam Silver was there. Melvin Ingram, fresh off of making the playoffs. He was sitting next to DJ Khaled. And then out of nowhere, first things first on the realist, Iggy Azalea was there. I was like, oh, look at that, Iggy. Things slow up in the third quarter. It was an 18-13 quarter. Miami outscored Brooklyn and, kind of got it, I think, to the pace they wanted to. Also in this, though, the big news out of it was Kevin Durant got hurt. There was a point where Jimmy's going to the bucket. He gets hacked. They don't call it, of course. And he lands on Kevin Durant, like his leg awkwardly. And it was a tough spot. And he had a couple of things that bothered him because he barreled into Kyle Lowry at one point for a charge, and he also grabbed his knee. So I don't know which play exactly it was, but he was taking a beating on that knee. So you get to the fourth quarter, things are looking okay. You're getting to the place you want. He'd have a lead. Tyler Hero, he's getting his offense going. Vic did pick up a fifth foul in this, which was a big swing on that because Victor Oladipo was doing the thing that he does on defense, which is he's just ripping the ball away from everybody, like an absolute demon. But it was, it was tough losing him. And then Nick Claxton got a couple of buckets, and Bam is just like not quite looking like himself. And you're just like, all right, he's still out there with the hand thing. We don't really know how bad it is. He had a turnover that led to a Seth Curry fast break. They're starting to cut, and it really, he just doesn't look like himself. It's very, very clear. I mean, we know what kind of run Bam has been on, and it's just, some of the errors that he was making. You just tell, the guy, especially hindsight knowing how hurt he is now. We'll hear a little bit about his injury in a second, but he just didn't look right. He didn't look right in, and so they at about 94, they bring in Orlando Robinson for Bam. That would be the last that we saw of him in the game. And you notice as the game's winding down, Bam's not out there. Here is the Heat big man on what was going on with his injury.
Didn't happen during the dunk.
He didn't.
Nah. It was I don't know, in between plays after that. But this has been something that's a couple days old.
Spo said that he had to basically convince you not to keep playing. How did that conversation go?
Nah, I mean, vulnerability. I had to own up that I couldn't shoot the ball, obviously. So that's why I was like, yo, coach, I'm cool with it. So, I mean, it was an easy decision on both ends.
Does it require MRI, anything like that?
No, I mean, we're just going to go get it checked out to make sure.
You missed extended time last year. How concerned are you? That's my question.
Nah, it's not this. It's not like how that was. I know I was going to miss time for this. This is day to day. Call it how I see it, day to day. Just get a lot of treatment.
Is it just like a play through the pain kind of thing? Is it like a pain tolerance thing?
Yeah. I mean, when it becomes low intolerance, I'll be better. But when it's excruciating how it was during the game, I feel like some of y'all would have went to the ER. But, it's one of those things you built for it.
So Seth Curry gets going a little bit. At that point, I start, Brooklyn, gets the lead back. Bam's still on the bench. You're noticing that this could be a problem. But then the Heat, they work their way back. Orlando Robinson finds Jimmy Butler for a bucket. And then Victor Oladipo off a big-time rebound with him and Kyrie Irving both flying to the rim. He finds Jimmy Butler for an open dunk. Heat take the lead. And then the Nets they call timeout with just over a minute left. They exchange a couple of turnovers. They're willy-nilly with the ball. Time's ticking away. Kyrie Irving, he pulls up from way deep. Royce O'Neal gets the putback. Heat, they get 3 seconds left. Kyle Lowry calls timeout twice. They inbound the ball. Jimmy Butler obviously fouled. They don't call it. So here the Heat sit. They're 21-20 on the season. The game over. They got OKC coming in. They got the Bucks twice this week. And we talked about this in the last video, is that the Heat have their biggest test that is coming up. This, Nets, Bucks, Celtics, all on the horizon. A lot of national TV matchups, all that stuff. And, this is kind of a show, like, where are the Heat right now? And at what spot? How do they, what are they taking from all of these close losses? What are they doing with as far as, the top teams that they're taking on? So asking some of the guys in the locker room about this, nobody wavered too much. Everybody is pretty even keel with all of this stuff that's going on.
How do you guys not get down too much after having so many close games this season?
That's just part of the game. That's the world that we live in. Knowing that this is practice for where we want to be at. When I say that, I mean the playoffs. I mean on a run to a championship. Games are going to come down to this. Let's get them out the way now and figuring out how to win and figuring out what to do, because later on in this season, we're going to have to win those games.
And even though every year's not the same year, these upcoming games against a lot of the teams that are top in the East, do you feel that's good for you guys, that to see maybe where you guys really are at?
Yeah. We better bring it, whether it be home or away. We got to figure out a way to win. Doesn't matter if we're playing a 500 team, below 500 team, or one of the tops in the East or West. We must win these games coming up.
I mean, we just let one slip against one of the top in the East. So, I mean, we got faith in our team. As you can see, I feel like we can compete with anybody. It's just one of those things. We just, we're right there. And, we need to turn that switch on so we can get over these humps.
You got to do it. You got to take some positives from it. We're finding ways to hold teams under their average. Honestly, defensively, we're playing really good. Offensively, we got to continue to try to get more shots up, more shots on goals and on goal, and just continue to build and work our habits.
Which I think has been noticeable. Like, the Heat have not been in a spot where they feel like they're overwhelmed. I don't think really since the time where, like, Bam just came back from injury and Jimmy was out. I feel like we look at them and they are playing a lot better. All of their games have come down to the wire, so there's nothing new with that. But even on their road trip, like, they could have easily won all of those games on the road trip, really. They could have had an undefeated road trip. And the frustrating part was, I think, losing especially that Lakers game, because the Nuggets are tremendous. This one tonight, the Nets are really good. I think the only thing that you're probably kicking yourself over is, first of all, crooked referees, and second of all, Kevin Durant did go out at the end. With the Thunder, you had a close matchup with them on the road on your undefeated trip that you went on. And then, you got these matches with Milwaukee for the first time this year, which should be a lot of fun. But, it does have, I do marvel at it. I think, honestly, it's interesting. I think Spo is probably the guy who took it the hardest out of anybody tonight, which is not typical. Typically, he is the guy who is, like, steady as they go, and usually the players are a little bit more emotional about this stuff. And I think, if anything, I almost felt like Eric was the guy who took the loss harder than anybody. And I don't know if it's because he was pissed about the Jimmy thing, or Bam got hurt and he had Tyler slipping at the end, so we were worried if he was going to be injured or what. But that was an interesting that was an interesting part of tonight's equation of the post game, is seeing Spo was probably the one more bothered out of it than anybody else. Interesting tweet, by the way, before we go to bed tonight, everybody, and then old Tobes gets some shut eye. But Stan Van Gundy, former Heat coach, he had a tweet, and he said that the Heat have only had their top four players, Butler, Adebayo, Hero, and Lowry, together for 17 games, and not more than 2 games in a row since November 1st. How about that? They are 6-11 when all 4 play, but 13-4 when one of the 4 are out. What does that mean? I don't know. It just seemed like a cool stat that Stan Van Gundy put out there. It is interesting though that I think if I take anything from it, it's that they haven't had all 4 of them for more than 2 games in a row. That to me is the bigger story of that. But as we've been doing all this year, you bounce back from this one, hopefully get a win against the OKC Thunder, and get this ship right and see once again if they can get on some kind of a run. I feel like I end every video like that. Let's see if they can get on some kind of run. Maybe I should say, you know what? We'll see. Maybe that's just how I should say. You know what? We'll see. We'll see how it goes against the Thunder.